Welcome to another Petisco, a bite-sized chat about current topics. Today I'm joined by independent lawyer Rui Tibério, and we discuss the ins and outs of finding a Portuguese property lawyer. Rui.
Hello, Dylan.
Welcome.
How are you doing?
I'm good. This is your first Petisco, so just tell us quickly what's your favorite Petisco?
Dylan, it's a difficult question because we have so many good and tasteful petiscos. It's a very tricky question. I would say that I love fried cuttlefish. It's a specialty of the south margin of Tejo, but it's very good. Also, the snails with a fresh beer is amazing. And if you allow me, oysters as well with a little bit of lemon in this area next to the seaside are very well. So I would say that are my favorite petiscos.
All right, so I'm going to try and remember the names of those in Portuguese. It's
choco frito, fried cuttlefish.
In a very nice batter.
Caracóis
with a cold beer is a cerveja.
Yeah, with a cerveja or
a caneca,
imperial,
depending on how many. Imperial or caneca. Sometimes you have to have a caneca.
Imperial is a little bit shorter. Caneca is for the pros, the professionals. And also oyster, then in Portuguese is ostra.
Yeah. Well, one of the first times that you and I met, I knew that you told me you liked food, so I knew that it would be a difficult question for you to choose a petisco. But a petisco is a we call it a bite-sized episode. It's for our listeners just to get short bits of information that's going to be helpful for them. So, Rui, you are a lawyer and predominantly specialize in real estate, correct?
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about what you do and where you're based.
Yeah, so basically I'm lawyer since 2004, and I, for some matters, I specialize in real estate law. One of the reasons is because I like very much the communication, knowing people from other cultures, other countries, and also the kind of law is because it's I would say that the real estate law in Portugal protects very much the buyers, the owners, namely with the construction. All the rules are very in the last 10-12 years very protective of the buyers, and the owners, we call dono de obra, is the client that contracts a building of a villa, for instance. And so after my degree in law, 5 years, I made 2 legal specializations of 1 year each, one in Coimbra and another one in Lisboa, of real estate law and also law contracts in general. So basically these are the reasons why I and also because even when I was an intern, I started to deal with overseas people. So I developed this taste to contact with people, to help them. Since then, I've been contacting with clients for almost all over the world, mostly in Europe, but also in United States, UK, that doesn't belong anymore to EU, Australia, Canada.
But I just wanted to let you know how much I like you, because I have in good conscience invited a Benfica supporter on to join us on this Petisco, so that shows you, how much I really like you, because in football terms we are enemies, but here we are. There you see, look at that.
If you allow me, with a seat in the stadium, okay?
Exactly, with a seat in the stadium. We've had an episode on the podcast before about the buying process in Portugal, but for people that haven't listened to that one, can you just give us a brief overview just a quick overview of the steps in the buying process here?
Yeah, basically, first of all, the reservation. Why? Because with the reservation and the deposit we call reservation, can be called the act of reserve a property and also the act to pay to reserve this. This means that since the reservation is done, the buyer has the, I would say, guarantee that the property is off the market and kept for a certain time for him. This is very important because with this is almost fully guaranteed that the property will not be bought by other person, because until we have anything signed, the seller can freely sell the property to another person. So the first step, I would say, that is the reservation. Then a very important step is the we call CPCV in Portuguese, is Contrato Promessa de Compra e Venda, in English something like promissory contract of purchase and sale, and in the simply way, sale agreement. Basically is the contract in which the two parties involved in the purchase and sale, buyer by one side and seller by the other side, define the terms and the conditions for the purchase. Not finally, but almost finally, the final deed. The final deed in Portugal is then granted in a notary. There are some public services that make and sign the deed, but I would say the notaries are specialized in the completion in the final deed. The clients, the buyers, can be represented by themselves. I mean, they can come to Portugal to sign, and I would say that maybe 80% of my clients ask me to sign through power of attorney or a proxy. This means that they are fully informed of all the steps, like the day of the deed, they make part of the process. The only thing is, if they are not willing to come, or is not possible, even though recently by the restrictions of the COVID, it's very easy, because they can sign a power of attorney for their lawyer. It's important to say that the power of attorney contains the specific matters in which the lawyer can represent them. So I would say that in Portugal is not allowed a general power of attorney, so it describes exactly what the lawyer can make in their behalf. And the deed is signed in the notary, is paid, and then the really final step is the registry. The registry is a technical act requested by the lawyer, in which we request the registry in the land registry office. Is a public bureau where all the properties are registered in Portugal, and also in the tax office to inform them that the property changed the ownership. So basically, these are the steps for the purchase and sale.
In terms of the steps that you mentioned, so we've covered three basic steps in the process, which is the reservation, the CPCV, and then the title deed. In and among those steps, you've mentioned certain things like the proxy and these kind of things, but we always recommend to our clients that they appoint a lawyer to act on their behalf. How does a good lawyer assist the client in those steps and look after the client during those steps?
Dylan, I would say very often when I talk with my clients that if you want to make a surgery, you must go to a doctor, not to a nurse. If you want to a project for a house, you should contact an architect, not an engineer. And if you want someone to assist you on the legal procedure, you should contact a lawyer. In Portugal, for instance, is a little bit different from the UK. In UK, we have barristers and we have attorneys. In Portugal, normally the lawyers, they make all the legal, not only for the courts, but they make also all the legal work. Why is very important? The first thing, like I told you, is the language. All the documents are in Portuguese. The deed is read out loud in Portuguese. When the clients come, they must have a legal translator, which can be, of course, the lawyer. If they don't come, the lawyer can sign in their behalf. But legally, they have to have a translator at the time and before the notary, before the deed is signed. It's very important. The first thing is the language, and the second is the technical knowledge. I would say that the important is a lawyer with experience, with the expertise, and with the being serious, because we deal with a lot of money of the clients, and it's very important, these three characteristics. It's very important to check duly the documentation, the registry, because when we buy a property, we must request several documents from the property and also from the seller part, the people or the company. It's very important to analyze carefully the documents, make what we call the due diligence. Due diligence, in a very simple way, means that check carefully all the property to see if there is any debts, any mortgage. If, like we say, it makes part. If there is any kind of problems, mortgages, like I was saying, and we call it if it's free and clean, so ready for the, sometimes it's not, but of course is the service of the lawyer, check if all is duly ready for the sale. And for me, this is I would say that a client without a lawyer is completely unprotected, because first, and I know I have been dealing in this area for some years. I have knowledge that some real estate agents, they say to clients, no, you don't need a lawyer. It's a mistake. Sometimes their goal is only to charge the commission, but they forget the most important is the client, because without the client, nothing happens. So I think the client must always be protected, at least because they are investing in Portugal. It's a very important matter, and is for us Portuguese. We are. It's not because I'm Portuguese, but I think and I feel also that the people feel this. We like to receive people. We are friendly people, and it's very important for the people that invest in Portugal be protected and safe. And in the legal matters, of course, they should be protected by a lawyer.
Of course, perfect. In Portuguese, we call it dicas, tips. Yeah. What are some tips that you would give to people in choosing a good real estate lawyer to represent them?
I think maybe I talk too much and I develop very much like we say in Portugal, as conversas são como as cerejas. Something like the conversations are like the cherries. We never eat one, but 2 or 3 or 4. And I would say that it's important to not follow sometimes the internet tips or the media likes or everything, because we know that the advertising is paid nowadays. Sometimes it's not exactly I would say the proofs that I would say that if you have a website with a lot of likes, it doesn't mean exactly that they found a good lawyer. What I think is important is a local lawyer, and why. A local lawyer, when I say local, is the area of the seller and the builder, and why. Normally, and in my case, for instance, I'm a fully independent lawyer, so for me, it's important not to ever have or have in this moment any services to the builders and to the selling company. Why? Exactly to feel and be independent. And why is this important? Because normally we sometimes we in the documents, and it happened in the past, we see that everything is almost perfect, but we have for other experiences, or because we know Portugal is too small, and Silver Coast too, and it's important because we know information about normally the sellers and the builders, and it's important because we are connected in our area, and we can have the experience of being have been deals and contracts with those builders and sellers. So is important, and of course the experience is important, because sometimes the experience saves a lot of troubles and a lot of money, and like I told you, is very important. A serious lawyer, when I say serious, is regarding the issues of monies and funds. I think it's important, for instance, to present to the clients a full list of all the costs involved in a purchase, including the legal fee, the notary, the taxes. So for the client, since the first moment, has the full information of the costs he will have. This, believe me, avoids bad surprises. And so I would say this is the important. So a local lawyer, a lawyer with the experience, and being straightforward and serious. I would say that this is important. And of course, sorry, just to close, an independent lawyer, because a lawyer that works for the real estate is not, in my point of view, can lead to a conflict of interests. So it's very important to be, and I'm not saying that should be myself, of course. I don't want for our listeners to think that I'm making publicity to myself, but of course it's important. There are the lawyers, but it's important to be an independent lawyer, and not, for instance, a lawyer that works for the real estate agent or for the builder, because I think the lawyer should be fully independent to defend their client.
I've seen a habit that's come up where people will go onto social media to ask for recommendations for legal support. I'm not too sure that's the best place to find a good lawyer. What would your comment be about that?
Yeah, when you say social media, you'd say
like Facebook or things like that.
Yeah. That's more or less when I sorry, but I already said something about this. Sometimes we know how the social media works. Sometimes it's not for the experience, expertise, the knowledge, is because one good experience or one bad experience, sometimes the I would say the views, and we all know how this works. The views are paid, is not exactly because of the value and I'd say the worth of the lawyer, but by the reason. So I would say that the social media, okay, it's good to contact people, to make comments, but in such serious situation like this, we are not talking about buy a bicycle or a pair of shoes. We are talking about to buy a property. Sometimes is a life dream of a client, buy a house in Portugal, a villa in Portugal. Sometimes we are talking about savings of a lifetime, and it's very important to have the I would say strong information and not follow the social media, because we all know that how social media can manipulate information or not reflect the reality we have.
Yeah. Thank you.
This is my comment.
Okay. Rui, thank you so much. I'm going to put some links in the show notes so that people, if they want to get in touch with you to talk more about your services, they can do that.
Okay.
Rui, thank you so much. I've loved this chat. I will see you in Calder soon. We'll have a Petisco.
Okay.
And I'm going to let you call it.
You choose.
I'll choose. And I'm going to let you call it.
Okay, that's a wrap.
Follow the links available for more information about Rui and the services that he provides. And please remember to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We'd love to hear from you. Welcome to The Simple Life.